You got it. Welcome into the Joe Dickey Electric Scoreboard. Week 8 is in the books. Some impressive games, some blowouts, some amazing stats to give along the way. I mean, it's a perfect night. I'm going to run down the scores real quick, and then we're going to talk. Beaver Local goes to Indian Creek. Impressive win, 41-7. They improved to 6-2. LeBray shuts out Brookfield, 28-0. We're going to hear from Coach Armini and Devin Carter here in a few minutes. Canfield, 35-16 over East. Hubbard, 29-15 over Girard. Louisville, shut out by Glen Oak, 42-0. Cheney, impressive win over Howland, 32-21. South Range continues to roll along, 63-21. They're perfect. Poland shuts out Lakeview, 40-0. Tom Pavlansky's first game against his former club. Lisbon wins the Spaghetti Bowl in a great game against Latonia, 19-12. Lowville doubles up McDonald, 40-20. Struthers falls in a heartbreaker to Niles, 21-14. Salem, you want to talk heartbreakers. A botched two-point conversion is the difference, 28-26. Middle Ridge all over Sebring, 40-6. Ursuline loses to Villa Angela St. Joe's, 40-28. Wellsville losing at home to United, 34-7. Fitch with a great fourth quarter. We're going to hear from TJ Parker, 38-28. Waterloo over Jackson Milton, 28-15. West Branch all over Alliance, 50 points in the first half. They win 50-27. Western Reserve shut out by Springfield, 42-0. Champion beat Camel, 48-6. Garrettsville Garfield over Rootstown, 34-14. Liberty over Newton Falls, 53-19. Few Pennsylvania scores. Mercer over Lakeview, Pennsylvania, 20-6. Greenville beats Reynolds, 35-21. Farrell, still perfect on the year.
Pretty good.
54-0. Here's my little stat to throw out on this one. They've outscored their opponents in the first half, 184-0.
Can't get any better than that.
No, that's pretty good football.
We had, 4 undefeateds going into the night.
Yeah.
And they all win. Hubbard, South Range, West Branch, and Garfield. So 4 YSN schools still undefeated. We're proud of them.
Still pitching it. They're 8-0, sitting right up where they need to be. Pretty much close to locking in that home game.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah. When you look into the week 8 computer rankings after this, they have to be pretty set in the home game. And there's an interesting matchup coming up in a few weeks.
Yeah, it's looming, but I can tell you right now, both coaches, Dan Yeagley, Brian Hoffman, those teams will not overlook the week 9 opponent.
Brian Hoffman, the winningest.
Coaching Hubbard. 122 wins.
Fantastic.
TC Caffey, I mean, we got a report from Jamie and Romo. He was 22 yards or 37 yards shy of 2,000. But I'm going to guess that he got it.
It's just they ended kneeling down on the 10 there, so we're going to guess that he's over 2,000. What an incredible season he's had. And Salem showed me something. They lost, but to come back like that and sports is so emotional, and Johnson makes the big play to X-line for the touchdown, and unfortunately the 2-point conversion fails. But, Mike, you've been in sports a long time. To see Johnson, the quarterback, one of the leaders on the team, go right to X-line, who's distraught in the end zone, that's going to be okay for that football team.
I can guarantee next week he's going right back to him.
No doubt. It's a great thing in sports. You love to see that. You don't want to see anybody lose. You don't want – that young man will come back bigger and better than ever.
Yeah, he'll learn from it. And it's not that
it happens.
It happens. I mean, there's unbelievable things that happen all the time. I mean, I had a pop-up to me one time in baseball. Just squeeze it, can of corn, game over.
Hey, Jackie Smith, right? The Super Bowl.
Yeah, Jackie Smith.
It happens.
Changes that whole complexion.
Sure, but that was impressive to see a senior quarterback go right to his main target.
What they did, they scored late, got an unbelievable
onside kick. Was incredible.
I've never seen an onside kick bounce.
And they recovered it, 10 yards backwards or 15 yards backwards?
Faced a ton of penalties.
Yes.
And then somehow, some way, they get down there on 4th and forever.
He makes a great play.
Yeah, they make a great play to get to touchdown. I'm not going to fault that because that play is actually not your game-losing play on that 2-point conversion.
I agree with you.
You can look back, and Coach Tressel always used to say this. There's 6 to 8 plays every game that'll change the complexion.
I love doing this.
That wasn't one of them.
No, Austin Fitch.
Oh,
Evan
my gosh.
Sherwood, the play he makes.
They made their 6 plays in the fourth quarter.
Cam Smith, pretty good. Now we see why he's a big-time recruit.
Yeah.
That's a big win for them.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of tough things have happened to their program. I have a message out to TJ. He'll hopefully be coming on, and we're looking forward to John Armini and Devin Carter. LeBray, you've talked about them.
Yeah.
That might be the most impressive performance of the night to shut Brookfield out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you go back, look at their playoff game last year, 56-55, a game that won end. And
we didn't get out of here that night till what, like after midnight?
Yeah, and we were okay with that.
That's absolutely.
You know, and I was sitting there and I'm like, wow,
Looks
I
like
couldn't wait for this.
we have Devin Carter.
Okay. Ooh, gladly.
And John Armini.
There we go.
Popping.
Look at that. 2 for 1.
2 for 1.
Hey, smile, coach. Come on,
Hey, I
bud.
know
That was an impressive win. I mean,
Hey, I know that guy.
I'm thinking back to last year. That playoff game was one of the best playoff games I've ever seen. I expected a slugfest. What your defense did tonight was fantastic. They bent, but they never broke.
Yeah, you know, I think our kids, the message we gave them, and, you know, Devin can attest to this. I think some of our kids were a little bit upset that there were some people talking about how that they thought that playoff win last year was more of a like a freak accident. You know, we thought we won that game. So I think we had a little chip on our shoulder, you know, for this game. And I thought, you know, the message that we gave the guys all week long too was, you know, Brookfield's been the measuring stick in Trumbull County. Well, we want to be the sheriff in town. You know, we want that to be us. You know, so those seniors, man, they showed up and balled out tonight.
I think that badge is sitting right there on you right now. On the back, it's a bullseye. I know that.
That's that sheriff badge doesn't go on me. It goes on number 6. That's in the
There you go.
Yeah, we'll put it on number 6 when we get to him. Coach, we had an awesome time coming out to your place yesterday. Unfortunately, the rainstorm, we were able to talk to you. I talked with you about the athletes on the field. I watched that game, Mike. The performances by Devin and all of your guys and the Brookfield kids. You had said to me and to DJ yesterday that defense was going to be a key, and they were going to get some plays and some yards. Talk about your defense once they got into your territory. You guys just stiffened up and made big-time plays all game.
Yeah, you know, I think it was a collective effort too. You know, our linebackers, Devin, Trayvon, and we started a freshman at Mike tonight who really earned his horns, his Viking stripes tonight. Nathan Hemberger. Those guys just did a fantastic job. You know, keen on the run. You know, finding the ball carriers. And they made a few plays. Brookfield made some plays. But there were just as many negative plays as there were, gains for them. So those guys really, dialed it in. And defensive line, those guys really controlled the line of scrimmage. We were able to control the line of scrimmage offensively and defensively, which was obviously a big key tonight.
I thought one of the big momentum swings, Coach, was Brookfield drove, but you kept turning them away, and then your offense answered. And I think, as anybody knows, that's just sticking a dagger right in somebody's heart.
Yeah, speaking to some media, I talked with, the Trib after the game, and one of the things that I thought we didn't do, and I said this, yesterday in the preview show, the YSM preview show, I thought we missed some opportunities when we played Garrettsville-Garfield. And when you play playoff teams, like Garfield and like Brookfield, when you get those shots, you got to hit them. When you get the turnovers, you got to make it stick. You got to put points on the board. And I was looking for that growth, and our guys did it tonight. When we got those opportunities, we took advantage of them. We scored touchdowns. We had big plays. We converted long third downs on several occasions, where it looked like Brookfield was trying to figure some things out. We'd complete a 15-yard pass and just, really kind of break their momentum. So those were big.
Yeah, those are big. This is one of my guys right here. He said to me yesterday, Mike, he said when I left, we're going to get a win tomorrow, and you're going to text me, and I'm going to be calling into the show. And here we are. Coach, congrats to you. I love watching athletes in space. You have 3 fantastic athletes. One's going to be Devin that we'll talk to. Talk about those three and what they mean to LeBray football.
I mean, it's really immeasurable. I have so much faith and confidence in them. I don't ever think we're going to lose a game. There's not anybody I don't think we can beat with those guys, carrying the football, playing defense and special teams for us. They allow us to have that type of confidence, that swagger that's so important in this game of football. And they certainly earn it. Devin has worked year round. He was a starter his freshman year on a playoff team. He tore his ACL. He's busted his hump, time and time again to get back to the form. And he has it. He eclipsed 1,000 yards tonight, in 8 games, and that's with having to share carries. We have a lot of guys that get touches in our offense, which makes us really hard to defend, So he is, if not the premier back, one of the premier backs in the viewing area.
Absolutely, no doubt. Let's bring in Devin Carter and let's talk about your night there, big guy. You had reservations for 6 3 times. Just the way the offensive line played in front of you tonight.
They blocked really well like they do every night, and they just had holes there, and I was just running through them. And I caught a touchdown pass. Hayden threw a good ball, wide open touchdown.
How fun is it to play on that offense? I talked with you last year. I had a blast on the player profile with you. You guys are so well share the ball, all three of you. Coach Armini just talked about that. Your O-line and defense continue to get better. How fun is this team play for?
It's a lot of fun because we still have a lot of plays we haven't even ran yet. We could score more points and everything.
You're not supposed to tell them that.
You want to, Coach? We can get out the chalkboard. We could draw some of these up if you want to go over these real quick with Dev. We'll let some secrets out.
And this has to be said because Devin is such a class act. These guys are so unselfish, and I've seen it. I've been doing this a long time. I played and coached. I was just telling someone I haven't been out of football since the early 90s. It's just, and we're lucky to be around the game constantly year after year, but they're so unselfish. It's so easy to go down that wrong path of like, oh, I should be doing this, I should be doing that, and those guys they're good friends. It's a tight knit group. And they just want to see each other succeed. So, and that's huge. That's so important to having success.
Well, I think that's a big thing. When you have 3 stars that are unselfish, that's what makes things work and click offensively for you guys.
Devin, I wanted to ask you, Mike, I told you this last year when I interviewed the young man. You tear your ACL as a freshman. You work your butt off. You become the all-time leading rusher at LeBray. You're into this year. You guys are on a playoff run. Do you sit back and how special is all this for you as a young man to gain all those accolades? And, Mike, I say that because gaining accolades, like Coach Armini said, on a team that represents LeBray and their community so well. How special is that for you?
It's very special, but I don't really like to look at all that stuff like the accolades and all that. I just want to keep winning and go as far as we possibly can.
Did Coach Armini write that up for you in between when we said we were going to talk to you? No, that's a great answer. And Coach, that's a tribute to you, to your staff, Mike, to all the people that follow LeBray football. That's the first thing, Mike, I noticed when I went and watched them practice yesterday. Coach, very businesslike. For a Thursday practice, I thought you guys were thorough. You got through things very quickly, very sound. You had a game plan, and boy, you called it. You thought you were going to play a good football game, and you came out and really shut down a very good Brookfield team.
Yeah, I tell our guys, we know what it looks like. Devin knows what it looks like too. He's played on some pretty good football teams. So you can see it. You just have that sense of when things are clicking and when it looks good and when there's communication and there's no mistakes. I mean, when that happens, I'll take our chances with anyone. With 6 carrying the football and 11 throwing it and 1 catching it and running it and doing all the things that he does, I'll take our chances when our guys are focused and clicking on all cylinders, and Devin's 100% right. I'd like to think I'm pretty close with this senior class, and there will be a time for reflection. but that's not now. We're not there. I haven't begun to think about that stuff yet. We want to keep winning. We want to, write our name in the history book here and see how far we can push things.
We want you to keep winning.
Yeah,
because it's so much fun to cover your football team.
Yeah, Coach Mike and I, we talk a lot about and Devin, for you two, PlayStation 5 and those types of games. Yeah. They got 3 pretty good guys that we would put at PlayStation and a wide out, a receiver, and a quarterback that we would let her run around home field. You've put yourself in position now to play some home playoff games. Devin, I'll go to you first. As a senior, how nice would it be to get a home playoff game at LeBray?
It would be nice. We played one in 2018.
Okay.
And we have a chance to play 2 this year. And I think Coach has said we've only played 2 in our whole history. So we could match that in just one season. It would be crazy.
Well, let's play 2 for sure. I enjoyed going myself out there. We appreciate both of these guys hopping on after a few wins. Thank you both. And any last things? Yeah,
enjoy that win. Get ready for week 9. I know you, Coach.
He's already in the next season. He wants to get off now. He wants to get off and go get ready for week 9.
Thanks, guys. We appreciate it.
He's got practice at 8:00. He's got to go to bed.
All right, Devin, go to bed because you have practice at 8:00. Coach, you go to bed too. Enjoy the family.
We're sorry you missed curfew because of us, Devin.
All right,
thank you.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
You got it. Impressive.
That answered. That's why I like asking young men like that. We talked about Johnson and what he did with X-Line. Young men like this, he could have sat and talked about accolades and I'm the leading rusher. He did.
He didn't.
Doesn't want to think
care.
about it.
And that's the great thing that Coach Armini has. He has 3 players. They're all happy and excited for whoever gets to the end zone. It could be a freshman on this team, and these 3 seniors don't care.
Is there a better coach than Coach Armini in the area? He doesn't get the accolades that he should.
Doesn't, but he should.
Look at the people that he's coached with and played for. You've done this a long time. Yeah, 21. Our partner. We'll throw that in there.
You look at where he's been.
West Side.
Where he's come from, what he's done, and what he's built at LeBray. And he walked into a good situation.
Yes, he did. But I want to ask you this, since you've done this a long time, you watched a lot of that West Side mentality.
Yeah.
I see a lot of that in this LeBray football team.
There's definitely a little bit of swagger, but it's not
tough.
It's toughness more than cockiness.
Yes.
It's a
we're gonna get you.
We're here. We're gonna let you know we're playing, and you're gonna get our best shot. And I think if they could have that Garrettsville game all over again,
it would be a closer game.
It would be a closer game.
I agree.
I'm not saying they would win, but I'm saying
it's a different style.
It's a different style.
But a game, I want to ask you this, a game that will help LeBray when they get set for their playoff run.
Absolutely.
No
they
question.
learn from it. And if you look from that game, from that point on, they've played differently. And I can't believe anybody said they lucked into that victory in that playoff game because if you said that, you were wrong. You obviously did not watch that game.
Because then they went and had a great playoff game.
Yeah.
That's a good football team last year, and they've grown up.
Yeah, absolutely. And if that's what they got to learn from, I'm glad they did.
Put that chip on your shoulder and go to work. Yeah,
I would put a chip on those 3 seniors.
My shoulder, and say, you go. But
and that West Side mentality coming from Coach Armini coming to the playoffs, like we were lucky. Yeah. Okay, let's see.
But honestly, shout out. We had a blast there yesterday at primetime. Thank you to all the folks at LeBray for having us out, and to your community, hats off to a great win tonight for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Pure class. That is one of the schools I always enjoyed covering.
Sure.
Because those are tough, hard-nosed kids. Nothing comes easy, but they come to play. So can't beat that.
It's 20 yards short of 2,000.
All right. So, but he's close. So we know next week we got to be early on the Hubbard game. We're going to have that
we'll have to. First run, we better get that counter playoff tackle for the first run.
Our luck, he'll break that.
Yeah, Beaver Local wins a Big 8 championship. Congrats to Coach, obviously. Coach McKenzie. Michael was on the call. So, again, we talk relationships and family. There's nothing better than listening to Michael McKenzie call Dad's games for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he enjoys it. And I'm sure he gets critiqued by coaches. He watches, he watches after game.
I'll never forget. We were at the primetime show and Michael came on and Coach was on, and it was after a loss. He said that Michael said that we didn't have to do this coach's corner, and Dad said, no, You're going to do your job like you need to do it and ask those tough questions. I'm a coach. I have to answer those. And there's a football team since we were there from the primetime show that has kicked it up another notch.
I believe they started 0-2.
0-2. Yeah.
And they've reeled off 6 straight.
6 pretty impressive ones where they're rolling people.
Yeah.
And the second game they lost, I want to say, was close. I remember they were learning. Yeah. Salem. Who we'll talk about, but Beaver Local is one of those teams that's getting a nice push here late.
Yeah. Well, and I got to be honest. I thought earlier in the year we were going to see an undefeated Salem West Branch, the way they were cruising. And I know Salem's lost a couple tough games, but there is nobody on week 10 that's going to think that that's an easy game.
No.
Because that
Salem will play very hard.
One team could be 0-9, 9-0, and throw out the records.
Talk about West Branch a little bit. You watched a lot of that game.
Oh, my gosh. You want to talk about PlayStation, Xbox, whatever, the Shields.
What do they can go split both ways and then just run the ball up the middle with their big low.
I would give anything for somebody to chime in here. I would love to know the Shields stats for tonight.
They had to be.
I mean, they were
off the chart.
Yeah, because
we know Balone had a great game. We got numbers on him. He had 2 passing and 1 rushing in the first half.
We know Bo had a good game.
Yes.
TC
obviously had a good game. There's so many good players in our area. South Range, they just continue to put up 50 and 60 every week.
Dominguez, Skirpack. I mean, where do you want to go?
It's someone different for them every week, and that's a tribute to Coach Yeagley and the South Range staff that they get people to football.
But I look at this West Branch game tonight. They scored from their own 2-yard line. They had another, I think, 80-plus yard drive. They hit some big ones over the top for at least 40-plus.
But the play for me was when you said we hit rewind and watched the Shields pass to the sidelines when he dropped that in.
Yeah.
That's a big-time quarterback right there.
Yeah, I mean, that was
covered. I mean, the coverage was blanketed.
Yeah, it was not bad coverage at all. That was a perfect pass. And I'm thinking to myself, they'll get out of here. It'll be halftime. Now, let's rewind that and show it because it was just a good pass.
Canfield kind of does what they do.
They just are. You want to talk about
methodical?
Methodical, bring your lunch pail. Here we go. You got 11. We got 11. Beat us.
Right.
And they
continue to do it.
Just smack people in the mouth. They win the battle on the trenches.
Yes, they do.
Week in and week out.
And they play good defense. And again, the running clock got some young kids in again, which is huge.
And I'm going to think down the line, I think Mike would like another shot at some team.
I would think so. He'll never talk about it at the weekly show,
but I think they may. That is a possibility.
I would think so. I would think after they beat Fitch which Fitch did today against Wadsworth, who beat Stowe last week.
Yeah.
So excuse me.
I can't give final stats, but at a halftime, Drew DeShields had 174 passing yards, 8 for 16 with 2 touchdowns, 12 carries, 247 rushing yards with 3 touchdowns. At halftime.
Pretty good half.
And then at the end of the game, West Branch had 500.
Pretty good.
West Branch had 510 total yards.
510 total yards.
I'm going to bet, though, 400.
And probably kicked it into a low gear.
Yeah. Well, they didn't have to. It was a running clock, and they let Alliance just drive the field, eat the clock, because it was never going to stop.
Coach Pav goes against his old team in Lakeview. Poland's starting to make that turn.
They're finding themselves.
Sure. Physical, big, strong.
And Lakeview's 20 points came after they were down 40-0.
Ursuline, I'm not going to lie, I'm shocked.
Yeah.
Defensively has been an issue, and
it's an issue.
St. Joe's is a good team. We talked about this. They're not coming in to stand by to play. If you could be a playoff opponent, obviously, so you want to see one another. And it's a good football team I watch in St. Joe. Some good talent.
Oh, absolutely. And think about that region in the playoffs.
Yeah, and Drew DeShields did not play in the second half, so those were his final stats.
Yeah.
He's pretty good.
Yeah, he's pretty good. But you look at that, you could have West Branch, St. Joe's,
Ursuline.
I mean, LeBray's in there. I mean, there's some good teams.
Some good skilled people.
Yeah.
That region's going to be who can play the best defense.
And here's the funny thing.
And weather. Do you think weather comes in?
There you go. The weather hits. Who has the advantage playing on that grass?
That's a good question. That's a good question.
And I got to think, I thought West Branch was talented last year.
Yes.
They need to be better this year.
On the line of scrimmage, they look better.
Yeah, I think those kids. I know they didn't graduate
and lost a
all
great
along.
quarterback.
Yeah, and they replaced him with
A great quarterback.
a great quarterback. They're, I mean, it's sitting there like the Shields had to wait his turn, but boy, he's made the most of it.
Yeah, I don't. Just reading some things that Russell Pavlov, Hubbard 8-0, South Range 8-0, Northeast. Yeah, going to come down to those two. West Branch and Farrell are the best teams. I can't argue that.
Yeah, Nick Colbert saying West Branch is the best team in D4 statewide.
Their defense is the key.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to play some good folks in the playoffs, but offensively, they'll put it up there against anybody.
Well, here's one to think about. Ursula, we've talked about their defense has been suspect at times.
Sure. And look at the people that we'll see in that region's playoffs. There's a lot of skilled, athletic guys that there are going to be a lot of points scored in that region in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be fun to watch.
For us,
Can't wait for the playoffs.
Waiting on TJ Parker. Hopefully he calls in. He may still be celebrating that. That was late. I sent him the link. So,
well, and when you think about their game, Steve, you tell me, what was it? They're down 10 in the fourth?
Yeah.
I'm thinking, oh boy, they're in trouble. Next thing you know,
they score on a fourth down play. Cam Smith but Sherwood. I remember Anthony talking about that. Had the big play, escaped some pressure.
Oh yeah,
got the ball up to an athlete. He went up and got it.
Yeah,
and then their defense is maligned, but they get a pick six.
Yeah, and the kid scores on it. I mean, that's not only do you get the pick, but now you've really swung that momentum.
Sure.
And Wadsworth has to be leaving Austintown thing tonight.
Shell shock.
Well, shell shock, but boy, we gave one away.
Sure. After they beat a good Stowe team last week, you're putting yourself back in the mix saying, well, we can go to Austintown and get that win there in the playoff hunt.
This is a tough loss for them.
Sure it is.
They were 16 coming in.
And it's they were only 2 wins coming in, but they'll get some points from Stowe. So Austintown Fitch will get some nice points from this game.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, you go there. How about the Spaghetti Bowl? We've got it.
I love it.
I mean, you want to talk about a game, no score at the half, and all of a sudden, third quarter got a little more
up and down.
Fourth quarter was fantastic.
We had a defensive touchdown to start it.
Yeah,
and then the running backs kind of took over the game, and that was a good football game. Hats off to both of those teams. Very tightly contested, hard fought, and it's a great rivalry in that area.
Well, it is, and think about what both of these teams have had to go through this year. They've dealt with COVID, Lisbon's tragedy. They come together, and everything when they walked out on that field tonight was a rivalry game.
Sure,
and it lived up to the billing. I mean, it's one that you're like, wow. Thank you.
Yeah, we're just going through all these Springfield local. You watched a lot. They just continue to do what they do.
Yeah,
he's starting to find some different targets to throw the ball to.
Yeah. Radar's chiming in here. Don't forget, he's got Golden String Focus on Football from 1:30 to 2:30 tomorrow. He'll recap all the week 8 action.
Tune in and out.
Yeah, we like Radar.
Yes, we
he's
do.
A good guy.
Absolutely.
But you think of things and just look at the scores.
Yeah, here's Cheney. Impressive.
They needed
have not played in a couple weeks. We talk all the time how teams are going to come out. You know what the nicest thing for me was the night out East got on the board twice.
Yeah.
Yes, they're playing backups, no doubt, but there's a team that's been devastated.
But they didn't quit.
No. These city kids, they play hard.
Yeah.
They do things the right way. They were off a long time. And shout out to both of those.
Yeah, shout out
East and Cheney for going out and representing the city.
Big win for Niles. Keeps them in playoff contention. I mean,
that was a crazy game.
Yeah. I mean, that one went down
to the last possession.
And then you have Struthers. Boy, that's a tough.
Yeah,
tough
they lose
loss.
Sherwood on a torn ACL, who's a very good quarterback. Shout out to him and prayers to him and his family for that. We hope he heals up fast. And I thought the young man at quarterback did a nice job for him. And I thought Niles, that was a very competitive football game that, like you said, went down to the last drive.
Yeah, and Jefferson put some points up, but
just that one mistake.
Mistake.
You play South Range and they stop you one time. You get that one stop or the one turnover, and it seems like it's like a 20-point explosion off of them. They are talented.
Oh, absolutely.
And there's another team that you thought, no, we talked all those quarterbacks last year, and Patron and he was fantastic. We called Skurpak's come in and
didn't miss a beat.
Right, just like the West Branch scenario. Again, I can't say enough how good our quarterbacks are.
Yeah, we got some really good quarterbacks, really good running backs, and we've got some playmakers on the outside.
Have we had that as many as it looks like we have?
I don't know that I could say that. I mean, like, I look at this like, LeBray, Canfield, Hubbard, Gerard has playmakers, South Range, Cheney has playmakers, Fitch,
Cam Smith,
it just keeps
Dean
going on and
Boyds,
on.
Brady.
Oh, wait, West Branch and Salem, they got playmakers. Yeah, so it's there. But I think the guys that go unforgotten and all that, the reason these guys can make their plays are them guys in the interior.
Offensive line.
Because they're either making the block to spring the back or giving the quarterback enough protection and time to make the throws.
I agree with you. TC's phenomenal.
Yeah.
But that offensive line in Hubbard's really good.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can go back all the way to week 1, and everybody's like, "Oh boy, Springfield's in trouble." And I kept sitting in here and saying, "Give their offensive line time."
The 4 receivers that he lost that they're replacing,
and
lost to a really good football team who still hasn't lost.
Yeah.
So again, if they play again, I don't know.
I don't know.
It would be close. I don't know.
But I think it'd be
absolutely. No question. I think a lot of our teams that we think can make that run into the playoffs are getting better each week.
And oh, by the way, Springfield's 7-0 since that game.
Sure.
Did they struggle a little bit in week 2? Yeah, they did.
And Western Reserve, again, a good game plan.
Yeah.
You hold the ball that one drive. You were watching. They had it.
And
for a long time, running the game clock down.
Yeah. And that was the same with Brookfield tonight. I look back at that game because I kept my eye on that game. They had control. And like I said to Coach Armini, you bent, but they never broke.
No.
When his D needed to make a play, they did. And once they got the ball, they took advantage.
Yes, they did.
And that's the key to it. I actually want to see this Jefferson team in the postseason because
it could be a dangerous team.
They could be one of them.
I'm going to say they probably have to win one out of these 2 to get in. Maybe need to win them both.
Yeah.
Vinny Balone, Lowville. We were worried about how they were going to come back. They've struggled the last few weeks. He had a great first half, two throwing, 1 rushing.
He answered the bell.
Yes, he did.
And I'm going to sure that was a tough week for him, knowing that he didn't get in on that 2-point conversion.
Sure it is.
And boy, he made him. He made McDonald.
He put the work in, and that's where I go back to X-Line. That young man will come out bigger and better.
He's going to have a sleepless night.
Absolutely.
And we know that. But he's going to bounce back when he goes. He did a lot of good things in that game.
So impressive when you talk to Devin Carter. So impressive. That's the most impressive thing I watched, to watch the quarterback go to his receiver.
This is what I love about YSN. We get to connect with all the schools that we have that are part of our family.
And never met either young man, but to do that shows me that that's what we're all about at YSN.
Yeah, it's impressive. We're here for the kids.
2 captains,
the schools.
1 help a guy that's hurting, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, he went right to him. Yep. Like he didn't hesitate, and it was get up. You're okay.
Yep.
We're okay.
And we're going to be bigger and better.
Yeah, you're going to score the winner.
Absolutely, and that's going to happen.
We'll keep an eye on that Salem game. You watch and see. X-Line's going to be fantastic next week.
I think we covered them all, partner.
Yeah, I think we did. Let's run down the scores. I'm not sure we're going to hear from TJ.
Yeah, it doesn't look like we may hear from
We're
TJ.
okay.
Absolutely.
He might be celebrating.
He should be celebrating after a victory like that.
Or wait, we know TJ. He's in the game film room. He's breaking this one down and getting ready for next week.
Yeah.
Because he knows he's got some work to do yet. All right, we're going to run these down one more time. Call it a wrap on the Joe Dickey electric scoreboard. Beaver Local on the road, 41-7 over Indian Creek to improve to 6-2. LeBray shuts out Brookfield, 28-0. Very impressive. Devin Carter, 3 touchdowns over 100 yards. Canfield continues to roll along, 35-16 over East. Brian Hoffman, now Hubbard's all-time winning coach, 122 wins. They beat Gerard, Hubbard does, 29-15. TC Caffey, 20 yards to hit 2,000. He will do that next week. Louisville, I feel bad for them. That is a traditionally deep program that is prideful. I feel bad for the senior class because this is not the way they want to go out. They get shut out by Glen Oak, 42-0, still looking for win number 1. Cheney over Howland tonight, 32-21. South Range 63-21 over Jefferson. Poland shuts out Lakeview 40-0. Latonia losing a heartbreaker in the Spaghetti Bowl to Lisbon 19-12. Lowville 40-20 over McDonald. Struthers falls to Niles 21-14. Carrollton 28-26 over Salem. Middle Ridge 40-6 over Sebring. Villa Angela St. Joe's comes into Stambaugh Stadium, beats Ursuline 40-28. United goes to Wellsville and gets a win in Tigertown 34-7. Fitch with a great fourth quarter. They beat Wadsworth 38-28. Jackson Milton falls to Waterloo 28-15. West Branch still perfect on the year 50-27. Western Reserve falling to Springfield 42-0. Camel loses to Champion 48-6. Garrettsville Garfield 34, Rootstown 14, and Liberty a winner over Newton Falls 53-19. That's going to do it for a wrap on the Joe Dickey Electric Scoreboard. Thanks for joining Steve Leslie and myself, Mike Ackelson, and Anthony running the hot seat tonight. We appreciate everything. We will see you back here next week for the Audible Call starting at 6:55. But hey, football is not over. In 30 minutes, tune in to my old station,
Absolutely.
WFMJ.
Our partners.
Dana Balish and company, they got the overtime report. You're going to want to see all the highlights.
There's a ton of highlights to watch, so check in with our partners for sure.
Yeah.
2 games tomorrow, Harding and Mooney and Southern Local and Valley Christian. 2 pretty good games.
And where can you see them? How about right here on YSN?
Absolutely.
All right.
All right.
Love it, partner. We'll see you guys